What if success wasn't about reaching the top as fast as possible, but about making sure you can actually stay there once you've arrived? That's the paradox that so many people miss. We live in a culture obsessed with speed. The fastest growing company, the youngest billionaire, the overnight sensation. Everywhere you look, headlines glorify acceleration. Yet, beneath the surface, reality is far less glamorous. For every company that goes public with $1 billion valuation, dozens collapse in silence. For every athlete who bursts into the spotlight with early fame, countless vanish into obscurity, their bodies broken, their momentum gone. Because quick success is fragile, but sustainable success, that's the real long game. Welcome to the long game. I'm Nathan. Today, we're exploring sustainable success, not just achieving greatness, but designing it in a way that endures. Imagine a skyscraper. The taller it is, the deeper the foundation must be. If you rush the building process, skipping the unglamorous part underground, the first earthquake will tear it down. Human achievement works the same way. Without roots, without structure, without patience, all you've built will eventually collapse. Think about the marathon runner. At the start, a few sprinters surge ahead, burning through their energy for the thrill of being seen in front. The crowd cheers. For a moment, it looks like victory. But 10 miles later, they fade. Meanwhile, the quiet, disciplined runner keeps his pace steady, reserves energy, and in the end, crosses the finish line. The world doesn't remember who led the first mile. It remembers who lasted to the very end. Sustainable success is about designing for longevity. It's the ability to keep producing results year after year, not just in bursts. And it applies everywhere. In business, in personal growth, in relationships, in health. Ask yourself, do you want to be known as someone who shines for a season, or someone whose impact compounds across decades? Let's take business as an example. Startups often chase hockey stick growth. Rapid adoption, quick money, huge valuation. But that growth often comes at the cost of weak systems, fragile culture, or overdependence on a trend. When the environment shifts, and it always does, they break. Contrast that with companies like Berkshire Hathaway or Toyota. They don't sprint. They build structures designed to outlast storms, economies, even leadership changes. That's why they're still here after others disappeared. The same applies to personal wealth. If you try to double your money quickly, you'll probably fall into speculation. Maybe you'll win once, but in the long run, luck runs out. The sustainable approach is compounding, steady, disciplined, boring to outsiders, but unshakable when time does its work. Warren Buffett often says, you can't produce a baby in 1 month by getting 9 women pregnant. Some processes demand time. Rushing doesn't accelerate them, it destroys them. But let's zoom out even more. Sustainable success is not just financial. It's about careers. You can climb the corporate ladder fast by overworking, but if you burn out, or if your reputation suffers from shortcuts, what's the point? It's about health. You can lose weight in a month through extreme diets, but your body pays later. True health is built through small, consistent actions. Sleep, movement, nutrition, stress management. It's about relationships. You can charm someone quickly, but deep trust takes years of integrity, showing up and listening. In every dimension, the same principle applies. What comes fast rarely lasts. What grows slow becomes unshakable. Here's the trap. Society rewards visible speed, not invisible endurance. People clap for your quick win, not for your quiet discipline. That's why you need to define success for yourself, not by external applause. Because applause is loud in the moment, but silent when you're left rebuilding after a crash. True success is the ability to endure, to adapt, to remain standing when others fall. To achieve that, there are three essential ingredients: pace, foundation, and renewal. Pace is about knowing when to push and when to conserve. Foundation is about building systems, values, and habits that hold you steady when things get turbulent. Renewal is about constantly adapting, because what works now won't work forever. Without renewal, even the strongest system eventually breaks. As we go deeper into this conversation, we'll explore how you can weave these ingredients into your own life. Not in theory, but in practice. Because sustainable success isn't about waiting decades for payoff. It's about designing a life where each step strengthens the next, where every small win compounds, where you don't just climb, you endure at the summit. So stay tuned. In the next part, we'll break down the mechanics of how sustainable success is actually built, the mindsets, the daily practices, and the protective systems that keep you in the game for the long haul. Because remember, almost anyone can succeed once. Very few can keep succeeding forever. And the difference between the two is where the real secret lies. If the first part of our journey was about understanding why sustainable success matters, this part is about how to actually build it. Because the truth is, it's not enough to know that quick wins are fragile. You need practical tools, mindsets, and systems that make endurance possible. Otherwise, the pressure of the world, the speed, the noise, the competition will pull you back into the cycle of chasing shortcuts. Let's begin with the first element, pace. Pace is about energy management. Think of your life as a long-distance expedition, not a one-day sprint. Most people exhaust themselves early because they confuse intensity with progress. They believe that the harder they push in the short term, the faster they'll arrive. But in reality, pushing without rhythm leads to burnout. Consider professional athletes. Their careers are not built on going at maximum intensity every day. Instead, they train in cycles, periods of high exertion followed by recovery, seasons of competition followed by off-season rest. They understand that rest isn't weakness, it's part of sustainability. The same principle applies to your career, your business, your personal growth. If you want to still be at your best 10, 20, 30 years from now, you must design your pace with intention. Work hard, yes, but build recovery into your system. Now, let's talk about the second element, foundation. Foundation means building structures that outlast moods and external circumstances. If success depends only on your willpower in the moment, it won't last. Willpower is like a battery. It runs out. Systems are like power plants. They generate energy continuously. Think about money. If you rely on your discipline alone not to overspend, eventually you'll slip. But if you build systems, automatic savings, investments deducted before you can touch them, clear rules for what you don't buy, your wealth compounds without needing daily willpower. That's a foundation. In health, the same principle applies. Instead of relying on motivation to exercise every day, you build routines. You create non-negotiables. You schedule your workouts like meetings. You design your environment so the healthy choice is the easy choice. That's how fitness becomes sustainable. The same goes for careers. Sustainable careers aren't built on hustling endlessly. They're built on systems that generate opportunities even when you're not pushing. Networks, reputation, skill compounding. If people know you as reliable, consistent, and trustworthy, opportunities will find you. That's foundation at work. And then comes the third element, renewal. This one is often overlooked. Even with good pace and strong foundations, if you don't evolve, you'll eventually break.
The environment always changes. Industries shift, markets collapse, technology disrupts, health declines if not maintained. The only way to make success sustainable is to continually renew, to adapt, to reinvent, to update your systems as the world shifts. Think of nature. A forest doesn't stay alive by being static. It regenerates, it sheds old leaves, it adapts to the season. The most sustainable ecosystems are those that change with time, not against it. In the same way, you must treat yourself as a living system. Continuous learning, regular self-reflection, and the willingness to pivot, these are the tools of renewal. Now, let's ground this in some real stories. Take Apple. When Steve Jobs returned in the late 1990s, Apple was near collapse. But instead of chasing quick wins, he rebuilt the foundation. A smaller, focused product line, clear design philosophy, deep integration of hardware and software. That foundation allowed Apple to pace itself, innovate steadily, and eventually dominate. But here's the key. They also practiced renewal. They didn't just stay a computer company, they renewed into music with the iPod, into phones with the iPhone, into services with iCloud and the App Store. That's why Apple's success wasn't a flash in the pan, it was sustainable. Or take personal success stories. Look at Warren Buffett. At over 90 years old, he is still relevant. Why? Because he built a foundation of timeless principles, value investing, patience, and discipline. He paced himself with long-term thinking, never rushing into speculation, and he practiced renewal by adjusting strategies as markets changed. His methods evolved, but his principles remained consistent. That balance allowed his success to stretch over decades. Contrast this with individuals who chase speed. Think of lottery winners. Most lose everything within a few years because they lacked foundations. Or entrepreneurs who scale too fast, over-leverage, and collapse. Or influencers who rise in a viral moment but fade quickly when trends move on. Without pace, foundation, and renewal, even the brightest success burns out. So here's the takeaway. Sustainable success isn't an accident. It's a design. It's not something you stumble into. It's something you architect intentionally, brick by brick, system by system, habit by habit. The question then becomes, how do you design it in your own life? In the next part, we'll bring everything together. We'll translate these ideas into actionable steps you can apply right now in your money, in your career, in your health, your relationships. Because sustainable success isn't just a theory for billionaires or corporations. It's a pattern you can use starting today to ensure that the wins you create are not temporary, but lasting. Because the ultimate goal is not just to succeed, it's to succeed in a way that doesn't destroy you, that doesn't fade with time, but instead grows stronger the longer you play the game.
We've explored the why and the how. We've seen that sustainable success depends on pacing yourself, building solid foundations, and practicing renewal. Now it's time to bring this all together and talk about what it looks like in real life and how you can make it a living practice rather than just an inspiring idea. Let's start by addressing a common misconception. People think sustainability means slowness. They hear the word sustainable and imagine boring routines, steady but uninspiring lives, never taking risks. But that's not what we mean. Sustainable success isn't about avoiding ambition or growth. It's about creating momentum you can sustain without breaking yourself in the process. It's the art of scaling without collapsing, of growing without rotting from within. Think of bamboo.
In its first years, it grows slowly underground, sending roots deep, unseen. And then, suddenly, it shoots up meters high in a single season. That explosive growth was only possible because of the years of hidden preparation. If you want your life to shoot upward, you must be willing to do the hidden work first, the foundations that nobody claps for. Now let's translate this into your personal life. Money. Sustainable financial success is built on compounding, not gambling. Instead of chasing the hottest stock or crypto, build systems, automatic investments, diversified holdings, patience to ride cycles. Quick profits feel good, but they rarely last. Steady compounding, though invisible at first, creates financial freedom that no one can take away. Ask yourself, if my income stopped tomorrow, how long could I sustain my life? The answer to that question tells you how sustainable your financial success truly is. Career. Sustainable career success means designing your work so that growth doesn't come at the cost of health or family. It's about skill compounding, learning continuously so that your value rises over time. It's about networks and reputation, so opportunities find you even when you're not chasing them. And it's about alignment, making sure your daily actions match your deeper purpose. Without alignment, even the most glittering career will feel hollow. True sustainability requires meaning, not just money. Health. Sustainable health success is not about extreme diets or boot camps. It's about consistent, enjoyable routines, walking daily, eating mostly whole foods, sleeping enough, and managing stress. It's not dramatic, and that's the point. Sustainable health is invisible in the short term, but over years, it makes the difference between a life of energy and a life of struggle. Ask any elderly person who cared for their body early on, and you'll hear the same message. Sustainability in health is the foundation for enjoying every other kind of success. Relationships. Sustainable success in relationships comes from consistency and integrity. Anyone can impress someone once, but trust, loyalty, and love are built slowly over years of showing up, listening, and keeping your word. Relationships collapse when people chase intensity without building depth. Sustainable relationships mean you don't just spark connection, you maintain it through storms and seasons. So what's the unifying theme? In every area, money, career, health, relationships, sustainable success requires that you think in decades, not days. It requires that you ask, can I still be doing this 10 years from now? If the answer is no, then whatever you're building is fragile. Now let's make it practical. How can you design sustainable success starting today? Here are 3 simple but powerful steps. Step 1. Define your pace. Decide what is realistically sustainable for you. How many hours of work per week can you maintain without destroying your health? How much money can you invest consistently without panicking in downturns? Pace is about self-awareness, not comparison. Find the rhythm you can keep and stick to it. Step 2. Build protective systems. Automate what matters. Create habits and routines that run even when motivation is low. Surround yourself with people who reinforce your values. Put structures in place that protect you from your own weaknesses. Think of these systems as the scaffolding that holds your life steady when pressure mounts. Step 3. Schedule renewal. Don't wait for burnout to force you into rest. Build renewal into your calendar. Time off, reflection, learning, reinvention. Treat renewal not as a luxury,
but as a discipline. Just as you sharpen a saw before cutting again, you must sharpen yourself before continuing the climb. When you look back years from now, you won't remember the short bursts of frantic activity. You'll remember the consistency, the compounding, the fact that you stayed in the game when others quit. That's sustainable success. And here's the final thought. Sustainable success isn't just about you, it's about the impact you leave on others. When you build success that lasts, you create ripples. Your family benefits, your community benefits, your work leaves a legacy. Quick wins die with you. Sustainable success lives beyond you. So, as you move forward, ask yourself, are you chasing speed, or are you building something that can last? Because one path gives you applause today, the other gives you meaning tomorrow. This is the long game. I'm Nathan. Thank you for listening, and remember, don't just succeed. Succeed in a way that lasts.